Hello, pals, and thank you for joining us today. I'm Stephanie Moreno, and I'm the VP of Apprenticeship. And today, here for Tech It Out, we're going to be hearing, some journeys of apprentices, a student, and an industry professional, to be able to kind of help you guys understand what the process looks like for our programs, and what we have here to offer at Bitwise. And so, super excited to get started with our student. Brian Hernandez is going to be joining us. Hello from Buffalo. Awesome. Wanted to let you know, please feel free to be active in the chat. I think it's this way for me. Um, and include where you're from. And if you guys have questions, there's also the Q&A activated now, so that you guys can feel free to ask questions, and we'll get to those at the end after we chat with everyone.
Yeah. All right, hey guys.
So
My name
here's
is Brian. Hi, Stephanie.
What are you doing?
Good. How about you?
Awesome.
How about
So
the chat? Chat. Drop in the chat how you guys are doing.
yeah. So Brian, can you tell me a little bit about how you found Bitwise?
So how I found Bitwise was I was talking to my counselor because like to be honest before I started like thinking about my future I was always getting in trouble and I talked to my counselor. I was like, nah, I'm trying to make a change, trying to like enter in a new career path, basically start my future, you know. So I told my counselor if there were any opportunities like with something to do with tech to let me know. And turns out Bitwise was partnering with the TGR Foundation, really. That's what it's called. And I saw the email, and then I was like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and sign up.
Yeah,
And
so tell us a little bit more about what TGR is. So if anybody in the audience doesn't know who TGR is.
so TGR, what I remember was it was like a it's like a foundation that's used to like basically provide opportunities, and it's like a support center for students. Basically, provides students with resources that they could use to benefit them.
Yeah. And who is the person that facilitates that program? Like who's tied famous person that's tied to that program?
Tiger Woods.
Yeah, Tiger Woods. So that's pretty cool that, out there in Southern California that he provides these opportunities and in his foundation does this work. And so yeah, we decided to partner with them. We were super excited when we saw we had a class full of young folks like yourself that were interested in figuring out what their next steps after high school were going to be. So I'm super glad that you decided to take that chance and like bet on yourself to sign up for a class. And can you tell me a little bit about your experience in the class and like what you learned and what that environment was like for you?
Yeah, so the first class was the website for beginners class. Honestly, like one, the first 1 to 2 days, I was like a little shy, you know, like I was scared because like I never been involved in like something like that, you know. So it was like kind of nervous, scary. But after like the third one, like I kind of got uh more used to it, I guess you could say. So that's when I started asking questions, going to the study groups, just being involved in the community of Bitwise, and I just found it really supportive, to be honest. Like especially the study groups, they really helped a lot. And shout out to my two instructors from those times. It was a Jimmy, and then there was a Nathan. They were really dope. They really honestly helped a lot. And if it wasn't for them, I don't know if I would have continued or not. So big shout out to them.
Yeah, no, and just so that the audience knows, Nathan and Jimmy were apprentices at the time that they were helping support and facilitate that specialized program for the TGR Foundation. So it's definitely their way of giving back and paying it forward, for all of the work that they learned or and the process that they kind of went through and being able to kind of pay it forward in communities. So, what do you feel was like a highlight from either showcase or from like something that you learned or something that you were most proud of that like you were like, what, I did that? Like, what do you feel that that was for you?
Probably just saying like the final project at the end and how it really just came together. And along with the progress of everybody who took that class, you know, like we all started like not knowing a single line of code, then to creating like our own little mini website for the first class. And I was like, I never thought I could do something like that. So honestly, it was a neat experience.
Awesome. Tell me a little bit more about that. Like, why didn't you think that that was something that was available to you?
Oh, because technology, I don't know. I've always seen it as like a pedestal. Like, I don't know no one in technology in that
Yeah.
industry. Like, literally no one. So I was like, oh, I don't know if I could like even get into it, you know? But once I took that class, and it was like a whole opportunity that Bitwise like offered, and I was just like damn, like this really is like it's pretty cool, you know? Like seeing how like you and along with your partners that you enter the class with, and seeing how you all grow and seeing how you all grew together to the final project where everyone presents, and it's really dope. It's
Yeah, that's super awesome. Like, thank you for sharing that. And I think that that's one of the things that we definitely want for the audience to know and understand is that, folks come to us and not having any experience in code. I used to say I didn't know anything about code other than it existed, right? And then
yeah.
you come into a class and like you're able to showcase a project. Do you want to talk a little bit about what your project was or kind of like the theme or maybe your favorite projects? Because I know you've built three since then. So, maybe a little bit about what that looks like for you.
Yeah, that project. The first time I took the that class, it was I made the project on a little like a mock website because my father works in landscaping, and he does that. So I was like, oh, I took inspiration from that, and I made a neat little website for that. And I was just like, I used the colors like a color scheme like green, light green, and a little bit of brown. Um, yeah, that's kind of where I got the experience from, and yeah.
And how did your dad feel when he was able to see your final product? Like, what did that feel like for him to
Oh
see?
yeah, cause my pops was he was happy, not gonna lie, cause he saw me like after classes and attending classes, and like he saw me whenever I would go to the study groups, and then when I would be on my computer just practicing, watching YouTube videos, tutorials, and at the end when I finally showed him, he was like, oh, I'll say it in Spanish. He's like, "Oh, tu esfuerzo valió la pena," and
Hmm.
then to translate, that was all your sacrifices that you did. It was all worth it. Because he saw that I was really like, I was really studying. I was taking it like pretty serious,
Hmm.
and yeah, he was just pretty. He was happy.
That's awesome. That's so great to hear. And I think that's one of the things, right? Sometimes like whether it's like the folks that you live with or your parents or your partner or what have you, like they don't know what you're doing on the computer and they're like, you're just over there plugging away. You're just always on the computer. But like I love that you were able to kind of integrate your family and show them like your final project and like that you took inspiration from your dad. So like that's super awesome that you were able to make that connection for your family as well. So yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, Brian.
No problem. No problem.
Next up, we'll have Amanda. And Amanda is one of our apprentices. And I'll let her tell you a little bit about the apprenticeship that she's in and a little bit about herself and kind of what this process has been like for her. So, welcome, Amanda.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Stephanie.
Hello. So I'm super excited to like chat with you and like get to know a little bit more about you, or for everyone to get to know a little bit more about you. But can you share what apprenticeship that you're in and like kind of what that looks like in your day to day?
So, I am in the call center apprenticeship program. And my day today is always being that voice to connect to families that need the internet or to connect them to internet services, which is the ACP program. So that's my day today is calling families and just to like give them that human interaction that has kind of gotten taken away due to like the whole pandemic. So that's what I do on my day
Yeah,
to day.
that's super awesome. And so tell me a little bit about that. Like how has that um like what do you feel is like one of the highlights, I guess, is what I'm asking about your interactions with some of the families. Like what does that look like for you?
In the beginning of me starting the cost center, I was a little nervous. But then as I got comfortable and kept going with my script, um, it's more of getting on a personal level and just kind of because it's not that we're just offering them the service. We're wanting them to like feel comfortable and know that we're here to help. And so I've had a lot of good connections and got a lot of good phone calls. For example, one of the main calls that I had was very inspiring for myself, because this lady, she was going through something that I had just got out of, and that was being in a toxic situation, and she just felt so comfortable being able to talk to me that she had asked me for advice. And that right there is the goal, like not just connecting the families, not just
Hmm.
providing them the information, it's to get on a personal level and one-on-one with them,
Hmm.
which is like it's pretty cool. It's awesome.
That's awesome. That's so great to hear. And a little bit kind of just adjacent to that is just kind of wanting to for you to share a little bit about like, did you ever feel like technology was something that you would be entering into, or like what did that, initially, what did that feel like for you when you got the email that said, "Hey Amanda, we want to select you for this apprenticeship"?
It was very nerve-wracking because I didn't see myself in the tech field. It was a consideration, because I mean it's only expanding, technology is only expanding. So I wanted to be able to, okay, this is I need to get my foot in the door, to technology because it's just growing around us. So I wanted to be able to learn. And so getting into the field was like it was it was pretty cool. So then I was really nervous that I wasn't going to get an apprenticeship, because when I was taking my website for beginners class, I knew nothing about coding, like nothing. And being able to, it took me back to like MySpace days, and I
Hmm.
wasn't able to remember none of that. And the website for beginners was, you have to do it on your own. It's not copy and paste.
Hmm.
And so that was a little challenging for me, but I pushed through. I managed to push through. And the day before I got the email, I was telling my mom, I belong somewhere in Bitwise. I know I do. I may not be a coder, I may not be a developer, but there's something in this company that I can see myself doing.
Hmm.
And then that same day, like a couple hours, I got an email and I was starting to jump up and down. And I was like, Mom, I got an apprenticeship. And I started crying in tears. It makes me want to cry right now just talking about it. But because I was just appreciative. I was like, okay, this
Hmm.
is my calling for right now. This is my stepping stone. This is where I belong for the moment. And I'm able to grow from this point on. So
Yeah, no, that's so awesome. I got chills. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I think that, behind the scenes, we're over here diligently working on, having our chats and like going through the process of vetting candidates and all of that. But like, we don't often get to see kind of what happens behind the scenes. And when you guys receive that email, what that feels like, how you involved your family as well, right, as part of that experience so that your mom understood how important that was to you. And I think you mentioned something that is so key, Amanda, is that yes, you can come and take the classes and learn so much from that, but technology has so many other facets to it other than just coding or programming. Like, I feel like that's the tool that we use to engage the community, but like there are so many tech adjacent opportunities that we offer, like the call center, design apprenticeships, like I can go on, et cetera, right? Like different things are you may not think that or realize, I guess is probably the better word, that it is technology. And like, having to use your software, I know that I'm pretty familiar with the call center, and like knowing that you have to use a specific software to make the calls and interact and annotate like the conversation. So there is a lot of components in there that are very technological. And
mhm.
so I love that you had that grit and determination. It's something that we talk about all the time. And you had that determination to find the right space. Like, and you've been really amazing on your team. And I think that it's just kind of a testament to that community that you've built within your team and your willingness to contribute to the success of others. So definitely super excited to see kind of what that has come to.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited too. It's a lot. It's like so exciting at the time because my heart's so big that I just want to help in any way that I can. And so just being able to have that community of my call center, they're like my family. And it's just they've been so amazing this whole time. So anywhere that I can, like give, where, my advice or help in any sense of way. We help each other at the end of the day. And that's the whole point. That's the whole thing of Bitwise is that we're all here for each other. And that is the whole amazing experience. And the slogan is true. No one belongs here but you. So that's awesome.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, Amanda. And so, next up, we have Morufu. Morufu was an apprentice with us, first took a couple classes with us, and then came into a Salesforce apprenticeship with us. And now he's our industry professional. So, super excited to connect with him and get to know a little bit more about him and be able to have him share that with you all. Oh, it looks like he got he dropped off. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and wait until he's able to get connected. But meanwhile, I guess we can go ahead and share a little bit about kind of our process in the classes. So the classes are $250 to sign up to take the classes. They start with Website for Beginners. You've heard both Brian and Amanda mention that that was the starting point for that. And then it continues on to mobile friendly. And then each of the courses are 6 weeks long. And so then the subsequent 6 weeks would be JavaScript. And then it ends with React. And so those are the four courses. And that's kind of how, people get involved and figure out whether programming is for them or not. And so with that, we have Marufu back. So thank you so much, Marufu. Excited to have you join me here on the stage to be able to share a little bit about you.
Hi, good afternoon. Yeah, my name is Morufu. Yeah, I'm one of the first apprentice in Auckland, Salesforce apprentice in Auckland, and that started in the April 2020. And
Hmm.
that's me. And I'm a family. I have a family of five, and I'm a Salesforce administrator employee now.
Yeah, so it's definitely been a long time coming, Rufu, and this makes me super excited to see you here on the stage and be able to share
Yes,
your story.
thank you.
um, and knowing that 2020 was very event filled with lots of things happening, a pandemic happening amongst one of the things, and knowing that many folks found themselves in a difficult spot. And so would love to hear from you a little bit about how you found Bitwise and what 2020 looked like for you, Marufu.
Yeah, 2020 was kind of a change of life for me because that time was a situation that I was trying to find my path into life, and that's exactly when the pandemic actually started. And it kind of all hope seemed to be lost. And in the middle of nothing, like Bitwise just come up like. A friend of mine just called me that okay, there is a Bitwise trying to establish a office in Auckland, and they were looking for the set of people to start. Kind of okay, these people are going to take us in and give us some token in order to train. I kind of not believe it that is that possible that somebody want to pay you to train. I just like okay, there's nothing I'm going to lose because like every company is down tooling, like a lot of people losing their job. I
Yes.
just jumped to it, and when I came in, is my background is actually accounting. Like
Hmm.
I've been trying to get it kind of what make it so big for me. I've been like 3 or 5 years. I've been struggling to get into financing, like do different kind of tests, not having like get to the last, just receive a rejection,
Hmm.
like coming. to see Bitwise and be able to get in was so, I mean, like something so big for me, something so amazing, like, and meeting different people. I remember when I came in, I was not the type that talk too much. I know I met
Yes,
you that
you were
have some
so
kind of,
shy.
yeah, that's all, like kind of advice I get from everybody, kind of support was so amazing for me to go through the apprentice time. Everybody was supportive, and like I don't expect like much before I got, like that's something that is.
Oh no, he dropped off again. But I think what he was leaning to say is that he knows that with the support of the community that he was able to kind of break out of his shell. You know, he was really shy when we first met and I had my first chat with him, and so really just seeing how he was able to. There you are.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, so I
Yeah,
was just saying you were really shy when we first met, and I think
yeah,
that it just shows the testament to the community that they were able to help you feel like you could come out of your shell a little bit and feel confident and comfortable in
yeah,
being able to
definitely.
do that. Marufu, can you share a little bit about your background? Like you did say that you were pursuing a career in finance and like faced a lot of rejection and you know not really able to land something in that field. But prior to that, like you want to share a little bit about kind of your journey.
Yeah, yeah. I'm actually an immigrant from Nigeria.
Hmm.
That mean back in Nigeria, I used to be an accountant. Like that's what I do. That when I was immigrating here in 2014, my hope was okay. Let me start from where I drop it there. I
Hmm.
think it's going to be something easy. Like I started this exam called CPA, Certified Public Accountant. Like with family, it's kind of hard for me because I need a lot of time, but at the same time, I need to pay bill.
Hmm.
Like juggling those things together, it's kind of hard. Like I started applying for a job from 2014, like going to different interview, pass all the tests, but I always get a rejection. That kind of changed my okay. That is not going to be easy. It's not like
Hmm.
I'm not going to get help. Like I kind of get into the kind of saturation. Like okay, it's like I'm not going to get favor here or something like that, and it's kind of hard for me to change. Like somebody introduced earlier, introduced a kind of tech to me. I kind of say, okay, how will I do? Will I go and learn something that I need to like prepare for like in a year or 2 years? How would I pay my bill? That
Hmm.
kind of hard to switch like from what I know, because I believe okay, in finance, this is what I do before I can easily grab. But shifting to like tech is something that I believe it may not be a kind of a short time project or something like that.
Yeah.
But like
So
me
were
to
you
be,
surprised when we were able to kind of move your career
yeah,
along a lot more quickly than
yeah,
2 3
definitely.
years?
Yeah, definitely. It's something that is amazing. It's something that I'm so appreciative of that, because like I don't know, like it has been a turbulent numbers of years since I moved into like before I joined Bitwise, being in the family and see the culture, like feel me give me kind of a reassurance that okay, there's hope in the middle of people. Like no, not everything is negative. Like there's positive. Some people, group of people can still offer you help when you are believe that you are minority. When you believe that there is nothing for
Yeah.
you, like all that kind of, yeah.
Yeah. So can you tell me a little bit about, and this is like kind of behind the scenes insider information that I know about you and your journey, but like in hearing you express how important that was to give you hope and to kind of you know establish a kind of almost a confidence boost in you to feel comfortable and like now that you're doing sales or you were doing Salesforce things. Um, can you tell us a little bit about like how you started to share this information with people in your community, your church, folks around you, and now we have tons of friends and colleagues of yours that now have taken classes. What did that look like for you to tell that journey?
Yeah, like what my experience actually is a lesson for me. Like I see myself being lucky to meet Bitwise. Like everybody that is coming from my side now, like they don't need to suffer, they don't need to struggle, they don't need to go through the path I went through before I got help. Like it's easier for them. Like oh, this are not right opportunity for you. Just need for you to be focused. Like these are nice people that are ready to help. These are people offering help without looking for it. Like I'm so happy to tell people this where the joy is. Like this where you can find people that can offer you numbers of help that you are even going to get tired of it. Like I'm not because like I see this a kind of project that I believe is going to help a lot of community, talk of
Hmm.
minority people, talk of immigrant people, talk of people that believe they are not, they are cut out from the opportunity. Like
Hmm.
is ready, like this a community, this a project that is going to help a lot of community. Talk of like I'm happy to always tell people I have a lot of friends that is already in the program, like
Yes.
because this opportunity for them, why can't I don't hide it. Anybody that I
Mhm.
see in help, like I'm always ready because like in Africa they said teach me how to like give me fish, teach me how to fish is better than like give me fish, because you
Yes.
continue giving me every day but you teach me how to like do that thing,
You are
you show
definitely
me.
a
Yeah.
fisherman,
Yeah.
definitely,
Yeah, you show
Morufu,
me
and
the
are
way.
teaching that to your community. That's such an amazing blessing that
Yeah,
they
yeah,
have you as someone to be able to champion alongside them and
yeah,
remind them that that you're there to support them and
yeah,
and be that you were the trailblazer. So you're the one who went through the path first, right? But
yeah,
being able to one of the things we really look for in folks when we're looking for apprentices is folks who are going to contribute to the success of others, right?
yeah,
And folks who are going to build that community. And I feel like you're a shining example of what that looks like and being
yeah,
able to hold the door open for everyone who's coming behind you. And I think
yeah,
not only is that the Bitwise culture, but that's the culture in which you bring from your country and making sure that folks feel comfortable to show up in and be inspired by the hope and opportunities that are available to them as well.
yeah.
So thank you so much for sharing. That was so amazing, and I love listening to you share your journey and kind of seeing the smile on your face and like how this has impacted your kiddos. And like every once in a while when we'd have
Yeah,
chats, your kids would come into the conversation and they're just smiling ear to ear because they're just so proud of you. And it's just amazing to see all that you've accomplished in the short time. Like we said, out of the pandemic, out of 2020, and something that was filled with uncertainty, you
yeah.
are definitely able to maximize your potential and continue to do so. So
Thank,
so excited. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
thank you.
And so now we're going to go ahead and take some Q&A. And so if you guys haven't done so already, please feel free to add questions this way in the right hand corner. Um, to make sure that we get your questions answered. So we have a question in here that has 4 votes. So Grace wants to know, how does someone become an apprentice with Bitwise? Are there specific qualifications? So that's super awesome. I don't know, Amanda, if you want to speak to that or if you want me to go ahead and take that.
Yeah. Um, I could go ahead. I could try to do my best.
Yeah.
um, so how do you become an apprentice? For my experience, is when you take the classes and you're just kind of being yourself, and always interacting with your classmates, ask any questions, just being involved in the community at Bitwise, and just sharing what you would like to do and how your future is, and then it goes from there. There's kind of like eyes in the sky, but you don't see them, and they're like watching us grow within you know the classes, and they like to see where we would best fit within the company. That I think that's my best way of how I can.
Yeah, that's 100%. That's super accurate. I like to tease and say it's like the trifecta, right? Like, what do you like to do? What are you good at? And then what do we need as an organization is kind of like the qualifications, right? So it's not like a checklist of things that you have to do or that kind of thing. And then the three pillars, kind of as we mentioned throughout the conversations today, was the theme here of contributing to the success of others, building community, and that grit and determination. So long that you have those three qualities, that's really what we're looking for. Is, the three folks who spoke here today are definitely examples of what that looks like and what we're looking for. um, the next question is, what advice can we give someone taking a Bitwise class for the first time? So, Brian, do you want to go ahead and take this one?
Yeah, go ahead. So I started off not knowing no lines of code, and I was really scared to even touch the computer. But honestly, just if you're on the fence about taking the class, just go for it. Just go for it. Once you're in it, if you don't understand it, don't quit. Just keep on going. The study groups are there. There's a bunch of supportive people that are willing to help you. And then the good thing about it is that once you know how to do something, you could go there and then you could go out and help other people. So like the chain continues, and then that's what creates that supportive and like that supportive environment, which will just benefit you as along with all your other teammates.
Awesome. And then Amanda or Marufu, do you guys have anything else, or someone who's taking a class for the first time, or debating whether or not to take a class?
Yeah, for me, like when taking the class, yeah, just be focused and be open. Like if you have challenges, speak out. Like people are ready to help. Just speak out. There's like they don't expect you to know a bunch of things. They know that you are learning and they are ready to help. Like people are already able. Just need to speak out. Only the task you hold them is to speak out.
Yes, that's great.
Yeah, I agree with Brian and Marufu. Like that's just the thing. Don't kind of don't let fear hold you back. If that's the
Mhm.
goal of you're determined to do something, just give it a try. It's always good to try new things in life. And it's just motivate yourself. And even though it might seem hard, like Marufu said, there are people to help and reach out to.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Those are great answers. Stephen wants to know what kinds of opportunities exist in Fresno in terms of networking groups, meeting people with similar tech job goals, and just to get more involved in the tech web dev community. So that's a really great question, Stephen. So our events team is here on the line as well. So like, there's lots of events. You can feel free to follow our social medias, so that like if we have any virtual events or things of that nature, you're always more than welcome to participate in any of our public events. So that's definitely one way to meet and network with folks and connect that way. There's also, if you take a class, we have a couple of different opportunities for like social interaction. One being study group, another being our game nights that we host every other Friday. And so, folks will play like Scribble.io, or um, like Cards Against Humanity virtual version, or like Jackbox, and like a bunch of other stuff like that. So it's definitely a place to kind of meet other people who have similar tech interest, and grab conversations. And aside from that, about kind of goals and maybe common interests. So yeah. Next, Taryn wants to know what topics or area of apprenticeship are available. So that's a really great question. This is like one of my favorite questions because there are so many. So last year we ran approximately 25 different apprenticeships and with different topics. So I'll name off 10 just because I want to impress you all. And like, I know at least 10 at the top of my brain, but I won't remember all 25. So, full transparency. Salesforce, because Marufu is here representing Salesforce. So, call center is another one. Amanda's representing call center today. We have WordPress, we have React, we have online marketing, we have design, we have inside sales. Um, we've had, well, of course, web dev, meaning like mean stack or React Native, um, and oh my gosh, quite a few others. IT, tech support, um, cybersecurity. Yeah, I think that's more than 10. And I think that's all that I can remember. So yeah, it's always changing and always evolving. So again, we look at what do you like to do, what are you good at, and then what does the company need in that moment. So that's how that's determined. Grace wants to know how much time, if any, do you have to devote additional studying time outside of classes, and are study groups available? So if each of you guys want to kind of mention maybe outside of classes what that looked like for you. I myself was actually a student too, and so for me it was at least 10 hours a week that I had to dedicate outside of the 9 hours that I had for class. My class was 3 nights a week for 3 hours each, and then I came to study group and asked for extra support at least 10 other hours during a week. So that was just me. But Brian or Amanda?
Um, it I guess it just depends too on like how good you are going throughout your progress of the classes. But the more the merrier. So the more you put study and time throughout, like just to improve within yourself, I highly recommend. And yes, study groups are available and they are awesome. They help every any question you may have, even if you have like a problem within your code or it crashes, they can help you fix that problem. So yeah, that would be my answer.
What about for
Yeah,
you, Brian? How much
yeah,
studying did you have to do outside of class?
yeah. I'd have to agree with Amanda, along with whatever works best with your schedule. I know a lot of people have work, some people have school. For me, when I was in work, I would try. When I was in school, I would at least try to dedicate at least an hour a day. Um, just because it was really hard to balance school and then outside of class. Uh, right now with work, it was just whenever I have free time and pretty much after work. I go to work really early, like around 6, so I can't really do it in the mornings. But as soon as I come back, eat, shower, rest, watch a little bit of TV, and then go on to just studying whatever class I'm learning. So right now I'm currently doing JavaScript. So I try to just like code on for the rest of the night. And yeah, also study groups. Going to study groups really are really helpful. Um, so it's because it's kind of hard for me right now to attend the Sunday ones. But whenever I do have a day off on Sunday, then I definitely there. But yeah, Sunday study groups, and then Wednesdays. Uh, yeah, they're really helpful.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. Patrice wants to know what's the day to day schedule and work as a call center apprentice? Amanda.
Oh, that's a good one. So the day-to-day schedule. So what I do is, get my computer set up, get my morning coffee because you know, you're in for, a good day. And so I like to get everything up and running, making sure the system is going well. Um, and just working as the call apprentice, like it's a blessing in disguise, I like to say it, because we're here, it's phone call after phone call, and sometimes it might be like mentally draining, or it might just feel like we're not doing anything, but we are actually making a huge impact, not only for ourselves but to those families out there. So the day-to-day schedule, sometimes it's pretty easy, because you just get customers where it's like five in a row where you connected. So like for me, when I connect the family or just having that human interaction with them in the morning, it sets off my whole day. So it just like it becomes like a piece of cake, after that one phone call you connected. It's like, okay, I got my momentum. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. And so it just the day goes by a lot faster with that. So that's what it looks like
That's
for us.
awesome. No, and I have heard too that from a couple of call center apprentices, like that they make like they incentivize it, right? So they're like, I'm gonna see if I could get this person to say this word, or I'm gonna say a certain word, and like just kind of incentivize themselves to like build that into the conversation of something of positivity, right? And like kind of changing someone's day. And I really love that you guys are able to kind of do that and make it fun for each other to, get in there and call and help these people. people who definitely need those services. So thanks so much,
Yeah,
Amanda.
you're welcome.
Melissa wants to know what's a project or task that you worked on that made you proud or had an impact on you? And we'll start with Marufu.
Yeah, one of the one I have first work on is the architecture. Architecture is also is a kind of app that we design that traces the stages of the project from the inception to when it is delivered to the client. And also that's one of the one I love working on. And also we do onboarding for the employee. Mostly this app is used by the HR, and it's just the process of taking in the employee from when it's onboarded. Yeah, that's one of the cool projects I've worked on. Yeah, I love. Yeah.
Awesome. And then Brian, I think you kind of mentioned your project of was that like your favorite one, the landscape that you built for your dad?
Yeah, that one was like it was it, it was like probably the proudest moment just because it was like my dad was really proud. And if you're from like a Hispanic family, you know that like when it comes to like your father, they don't really tell you, uh they're proud of you. But this one time he told me, and it honestly made me feel good. So I'd probably say that one.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. That's sweet. What about for you, Amanda? Is there like
I
another call that stands out, or like that interaction that you had with that one lady that was able to really just connect with you and confide in you? Like, is that the one for you?
Yeah, and there's a another one too that really stands out. Is that it was actually on my birthday. And it was a huge like huge phone call because um we don't we have to engage with these customers without having to ask if we're speaking with the person. So we have to engage with them, so we don't know who's on the other end. And so when I had made that phone call, um, I was having kind of going through a little mental, um, a little headspace. And then I got that one phone call, and she was very helpful, and it is going to help the call center. So that was something that I am very proud of, that I was able to connect with that person, and along with the other phone calls that I also get throughout the day, to connect with them on a personal level.
That's awesome. And Gabriel has a question: is there financial aid? If so, what is the process like for applying for it? Um, so not necessarily financial aid in the traditional sense, but we do have financial support or equipment support options that we can offer to help support someone for a class if they're needing that. And folks can definitely email training at bitwiseindustries.com if that's something that they're interested in booking kind of an appointment with us, one of our support specialists, to kind of talk about those options for financial assistance or equipment assistance, is what we call that. And then Jose Fernando Ledesma wants to know, what does Bitwise community mean to us personally? Oh my gosh, that's such a great question. So I'll go first because I'm super excited about that question. Like, it's really cool that here at Bitwise, I feel like it does feel like another extension of a family. Like it feels like our Bitwise fam, and like we're able to like rely on one another to help support each other through, sometimes difficult work, sometimes difficult life. And it's a really amazing balance here. And there's no other place that I've ever worked or encountered that is able to provide that sense of family and community to folks in that authentic way. So that's what it is for me.
I agree with you on that one, Stephanie. Because and me too personally. When I got into the apprenticeship program, and even before that, even just taking the classes, they are welcoming you with open arms, and it's just they don't there's no judgment.
Yeah.
It's they, they love you for who you are, and they care for you. We're all human. So it's always just good to, and then you get to interact with people who like come from different cultures, and just different personalities. So it's like one big happy family here at Bitwise, and it's, to me, it's just, it's, I enjoy being here, so it's great.
So, what about for you, Marufu?
Yeah, for me it is huge. It have for me. It looking. I look at this internal and external facing. For internal, is a big family for me because like there's no way, there's nobody you meet in Bitwise. They are like family. Like we've been in Fresno. People were there for us everywhere. Like people don't let you feel bad when you are in the company. It's like this is not the community that you be, that you feel that okay, is my day is going to be good or something. You always have a positive things to, like this
Hmm.
a home, this somebody you want to be every time. For external looking, I always see this community as is one of the problem to solve it tools, because I believe people that Bitwise is giving access to life, because people feel like a lot of crime, a lot of violence, because people feel cheated, people feel they don't belong here, people feel that they don't have opportunity. This is
Hmm.
what the opportunity Bitwise is offering, that I believe when like this in my community, I think believe Oakland is lucky to have Bitwise branch here. Like it's going to solve a lot of issue, a lot of problem that we believe people that feel cheated, people that feel they don't have home, they're going
Hmm.
to have home. That's what I look at Bitwise as. Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. And Brian, I know that your interaction has been with us as a student in that perspective, but how does being a part of the community make you feel?
Oh yeah, Bitwise is like really accepting. Like your classmates, your instructors, uh, the student success specialists, pretty much everyone that I've met so far is like really accepting. It doesn't matter what background you've come from. They're really accepting, and they're all really so supportive and just want the best for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. I think we have time for maybe one more question. Then the next question is, what is your proudest moment while you were taking courses? So, Brian, I'll let you start because you're kind of still in that mode. So, if there's something that you're most proud of, feel free to share.
Yeah. So apart from the website I created for my pops, I'd probably say another proud is just like keep on going to the classes because it's like really, really like at least for me, I found it really, really hard at first. Even till now, like learning JavaScript is pretty hard. But it's all about being determined and just gotta keep on going. So that's something that I'm pretty proud of, just because like with the help of like study groups and independent study, it's like just the fact that like just keep on going and I yeah, I'm proud of myself for that.
Well,
So
I'm going to pause you for a second on that, Brian, because I feel like, yes, we do provide those supports, but you got to give yourself some credit for like navigating your way to continue to be interested. Like, I know you just graduated from high school, and so you're
yeah,
like going through a lot of like milestones in your life, but you were determined to, connect with us, and like you had to take a little pause for a little while. So I want to give you props too, man, for being that person that's driven enough to seek out the opportunity, because we can provide the support, we can provide resources, we can provide all of those things, but it really takes that individual that's that go-getter that just is hungry for that opportunity. So thank you for showing up, man. Like, I just want to say that.
thank you.
And what about for you, Amanda? What was your proudest moment as a student?
My proudest moment was kind of when there was an error in my site, that and then the study group wasn't until Wednesday. I was able to figure it out by myself. So
Awesome.
that was like my proudest little moment when I was taking the course.
That's great. That's like a really good feeling, right? Like you just get so excited that you were able to figure it out.
Yes, I was like literally in the other room and I was doing it. My mom's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I gotta get this done. I gotta fix this." And then I fixed it. And I was like, "Mom, I did it. I did it all by myself."
What about for you, Marufu? What's your proudest moment when you're learning Salesforce?
Yeah, when I was learning, like there's some time like we have some issue that's it like there's no help forthcoming, and you are able to troubleshoot it and like you're able to create something that is useful. Like that's one of the things that okay, I believe I'm useful. Like those are the proud moments I used to have. Like okay, that I can build something in tech despite if I don't have this background, and it's useful for people. It's solving problem. Yeah, those
Yeah, I
always give
love
me,
that
yeah,
because that means that like it kind of helps you calm your imposter syndrome too, right?
yeah,
Because you're
yeah,
like, can I do this? Am I good enough to do this? And like when you're able
yeah,
to create something that is
yeah,
useful and people can like benefit from, it definitely boosts your confidence, so that you feel like, okay, this was worth it. So I love that. Well, we do have time for one more question, and it's kind of funny because this one's for me. So Gisela wants to know that she might have missed it, but what is my role in Bitwise and how was my journey? And that I'm an amazing speaker. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Gisela. I'm the VP of apprenticeship, and so real quick, my like journey. I started as a student myself. So prior to coming to Bitwise, I worked 18 years in education before someone approached me about taking a class. And so I thought, I'm already an industry professional. Like, I don't want to take someone else's spot. But I was convinced to take the class in the name of maybe students that I was working with that couldn't have that opportunity. So I was like, okay, I'll take it in the name of someone else, but wasn't going to sign up to do it for myself. And I took the specialized course. It was a specialized course for women. And it was the second time that Bitwise had run that program. And so I learned all four of the classes that we offer in 6 short weeks. And so it was a very condensed version. And, there were moments that were really tough for me where I felt like I was either too old or too dumb for this, is what what was in my negative headspace. But with the community, like everybody has spoken today, knowing that people were willing to help me and support me. And someone who actually was super influential to my journey is on the call today, Melissa Varela, and her support and just like her best smile to just be like, it's okay. I know that you're behind, but I can help you. And like, never judging, never like eye rolling, like, oh, this girl is so behind everyone. Like, it was none of that. She was just so amazing. And so that would really helped me pursue my journey. And it was my proudest moment as well when I was able to showcase in the amphitheater and nobody could tell that I had struggled that hard. Like, that was my proudest moment because my web page looked just as good as everyone else, and I put in the work, and it was so worth it. And so, definitely coding and programming wasn't in the cards for me, but Bitwise saw something else in me and something that I didn't even see in myself. And so here I am, went through being the student success specialist, then a student success lead, and then a director, and now VP of apprenticeship. And so, it's just kind of a really good example that here at Bitwise, like we can start in one spot, but there's so many opportunities to navigate in tech adjacent areas. And so I hope that inspires you all to figure out like what part of this um, like program or of your journey that this can be influential on. I'm also a mom of four, so you could probably hear my son a little bit in the background, but being a mom, working full time and taking the class, so I definitely have been there when every minute counts, right? Meal prepping and all the things so that the kids could have what they needed. I could go and take a class, and this is when the classes were in a physical building. So I definitely have been there and can empathize with someone debating whether or not that they can take on, one more responsibility. But I'm here to say that it was definitely worth it and definitely an experience that I'll never forget. And one of my proudest moments as an adult, that's something that I accomplished for myself. So with that, we have like a few minutes left. So I just want to thank everyone, each one of our um, guests that were here today. Brian, thank you so much for sharing and making time to be here with us. Marufu, you're always an inspiration, and I can't wait to see what comes next for you, pal, and how you continue to grow with us here at Bitwise. And Amanda, and just the same, I think that, through this journey, you're learning so much about connecting with people and using that as a source of strength. And I can't wait to see what comes next for you, pal. And so I want to thank all of the audience for all the fabulous questions and your interaction. And knowing that we have folks from all over the place. I saw some El Paso folks and some Merced folks and some Fresno folks and some Oakland folks. So that was really, oops, sorry, that was really cool to see that, like, everyone come together. And so just want to thank you guys so much for coming out. If our events team, if you guys want to drop the emails again for if they have any other questions or interested in more information about the courses or anything like that, we can either use the workforce training or the training at bitwiseindustries.com, if you guys have any further questions and want to continue to connect with us. So thank you all so much. Really appreciate you all coming out tonight, and have a great night.